look what I found. I found Philippine Military Strength and with 35 billion has one off world record again. World record. Go the Philippines, so they can fight China or something.
The Philippines is embarking on an ambitious military modernization program. This initiative is not just a minor upgrade, but a comprehensive overhaul of the country's defense capabilities. The program aims to address both current and future security challenges, ensuring that the Philippines is well prepared for any potential threats. This program is massive, totaling $35 billion. Such a significant investment underscores the importance the Philippines places on its national security. The funds will be allocated across various sectors, ensuring a balanced and robust enhancement of military strength. The goal? To strengthen the country's defense capabilities. This includes not only upgrading equipment but also enhancing the training and readiness of the armed forces. The modernization program will provide soldiers with the latest technology and tools to effectively carry out their duties. This move comes at a time of increasing tension.
I'm Michael Smerconish in Philadelphia. We have international breaking news. First out of Kyiv, President
The Philippines Horizon 3 Military Modernization Program, MPIDSA. Summary. The Philippines is actively pursuing military modernization to enhance its defense capabilities amid growing regional security concerns. Its latest modernization program aims to also strengthen alliances with key partners like the United States and other like-minded nations. The Philippines is in the third stage of its Horizons Military Modernization Initiative. As part of the program, the Philippines has set aside $35 billion over the next 10 years. Amidst increasing tensions in the South China Sea (SCS), the Philippine military is eager to acquire at least 2 submarines and additional anti-ship missiles. As part of its ongoing military modernization program. 1. Background. During the rule of President Ferdinand Marcos 1965-1986, the Philippines underwent military expansion and modernization. Still, much of this was geared towards internal security, particularly counterinsurgency efforts against the Communist Party of the Philippines (CPP) and the Moro National Liberation Front (MNLF). Defense priorities were focused more on regime stability rather than broader national defense. By the late 1990s, tensions in the SCS began to escalate. China built a small structure on Mischief Reef in the SCS after seizing control of it in late 1994 or early 1995. The Philippines depended on the United States for protection against external threats until the end of the U.S. leases on military bases in the country, including Subic Bay and Clark Air Force Base, in 1991-1992. President Ramos attempted to modernize the military in 1995 with the Armed Forces of the Philippines AFP Modernization Act. 3. Ever since its inception, the act has been revised to ensure the military remains capable of responding to national and regional security threats, both external and internal. The act aims to enhance the capabilities of the Philippine military in terms of equipment, training and overall effectiveness. The primary goal is to modernize the armed forces of the Philippines by upgrading its defense capabilities, particularly to address emerging threats and challenges, such as terrorism, territorial defense and natural disasters. By the time President Benigno Aquino took office in June 2010, the Philippine defense establishment was still Southeast Asia's military laggard. Despite the reforms and modernization initiatives. 4. In 2011, the Aquino administration developed a new military policy that prioritized exterior territorial defense and internal security operations in response to Chinese aggression in the Philippines, EEZ and Calaran Island Group. The Philippine Congress set aside $450 million, or around 1% of GDP, for defense expenditures in March 2011. 5. In 2012, the Philippine Congress passed the revised AFP Modernization Act, which allocated significant funding for military upgrades. The revised AFP Modernization Act outlined a funding scheme over 15 years 2013-2027. The law mandated that the Philippine government allocate a portion of the national budget to fund the modernization program. This has led to an annual allocation, with the government committing significant funds towards the acquisition of new equipment, technologies and training for the military. Aquino's administration saw several significant events involving China, beginning in March 2011 when the Chinese threatened to ram a Philippine seismic ship, and a 5-month stalemate at Scarborough Shoal in April 2012. 6 civil supply ships that were supposed to transport supplies to the Philippine Marines on 2nd Thomas Shoal were halted by the Chinese Navy in March 2014. The Aquino administration ordered the AFP's modernization program to be accelerated in response to the incidents, and the protection of Philippine claims in the South China Sea was declared the country's highest external defense priority. 7. The Philippines' military modernization program is structured around a series of strategic horizons that guide the development of the AFP over time. The program's objective is to increase the Philippines' capacity for self-defense and independence. The Philippines Horizon 3 Military Modernization Program, MPIDSA. Summary. The Philippines is actively pursuing military modernization to enhance its defense capabilities amid growing regional security concerns. Its latest modernization program aims to also strengthen alliances with key partners like the United States and other like-minded nations. The Philippines is in the third stage of its Horizons Military Modernization Initiative. As part of the program, the Philippines has set aside $35 billion over the next 10 years. Amidst increasing tensions in the South China Sea (SCS), the Philippine military is eager to acquire at least 2 submarines and additional anti-ship missiles. As part of its ongoing military modernization program. 1. Background. During the rule of President Ferdinand Marcos 1965-1986, the Philippines underwent military expansion and modernization. Still, much of this was geared towards internal security, particularly counterinsurgency efforts against the Communist Party of the Philippines (CPP) and the Moro National Liberation Front (MNLF). Defense priorities were focused more on regime stability rather than broader national defense. By the late 1990s, tensions in the SCS began to escalate. China built a small structure on Mischief Reef in the SCS after seizing control of it in late 1994 or early 1995. The Philippines depended on the United States for protection against external threats until the end of the U.S. leases on military bases in the country, including Subic Bay and Clark Air Force Base, in 1991-1992. President Ramos attempted to modernize the military in 1995 with the Armed Forces of the Philippines AFP Modernization Act. 3. Ever since its inception, the act has been revised to ensure the military remains capable of responding to national and regional security threats, both external and internal. The act aims to enhance the capabilities of the Philippine military in terms of equipment, training and overall effectiveness. The primary goal is to modernize the armed forces of the Philippines by upgrading its defense capabilities, particularly to address emerging threats and challenges, such as terrorism, territorial defense and natural disasters. By the time President Benigno Aquino took office in June 2010, the Philippine defense establishment was still Southeast Asia's military laggard. Despite the reforms and modernization initiatives. 4. In 2011, the Aquino administration developed a new military policy that prioritized exterior territorial defense and internal security operations in response to Chinese aggression in the Philippines, EEZ and Calaran Island Group. The Philippine Congress set aside $450 million, or around 1% of GDP, for defense expenditures in March 2011. 5. In 2012, the Philippine Congress passed the revised AFP Modernization Act, which allocated significant funding for military upgrades. The revised AFP Modernization Act outlined a funding scheme over 15 years 2013-2027. The law mandated that the Philippine government allocate a portion of the national budget to fund the modernization program. This has led to an annual allocation, with the government committing significant funds towards the acquisition of new equipment, technologies and training for the military. Aquino's administration saw several significant events involving China, beginning in March 2011 when the Chinese threatened to ram a Philippine seismic ship, and a 5-month stalemate at Scarborough Shoal in April 2012. 6 civil supply ships that were supposed to transport supplies to the Philippine Marines on 2nd Thomas Shoal were halted by the Chinese Navy in March 2014. The Aquino administration ordered the AFP's modernization program to be accelerated in response to the incidents, and the protection of Philippine claims in the South China Sea was declared the country's highest external defense priority. 7. The Philippines' military modernization program is structured around a series of strategic horizons that guide the development of the AFP over time. The program's objective is to increase the Philippines' capacity for self-defense and independence. It has 3 primary horizons, each focusing on specific priorities and progressively advancing the capabilities of the AFP. The first horizon's timeframe was from 2013 to 2017, which focused on the basic modernization addressing immediate and critical gaps in the AFP's capabilities, especially in terms of equipment and operational readiness. 8 key focus areas under Horizon 1 were the acquisition of basic naval assets, procurement of light transport aircraft like the Bell 412, upgrading small arms and improving the AFP's communication systems and command centers, Horizon 2 of the modernization program was from 2018 to 2022 and was focused on a more enhanced modernization. It aimed to enhance the AFP's defense capabilities through modernizing equipment and addressing the growing threats in the region. 9. This included strengthening the naval force with the acquisition of additional missile-capable frigates, procurement of multi-role fighter jets and surveillance aircraft and acquisition of more advanced artillery systems, armored vehicles and precision-guided munitions. The AFP had enhanced its ability to protect the country's maritime territories and improve the readiness of its forces, but some key areas still required further upgrading. Recent endeavors. Since assuming office in 2022, President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos has vigorously resisted Chinese aggressiveness in the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone. EEZ. Amid the growing SCS territorial conflicts, Defense Secretary Gilberto Teodoro Jr. declared the adoption of the third phase of the AFP modernization program, revised Horizon 3, on the 23rd of January 2024. To fully secure and defend the nation's land and water territory, exclusive economic zones, seabed, continental shelf, and airspace. Horizon 3 is a strategy that has a budget of $35 billion spread over 10 years. The primary goal is to further enhance the country's defense capabilities by acquiring advanced technology and systems to strengthen the AFP's overall readiness. This calculated action is the last in a three-phase upgrade process that began in 2013 as a result of rising SCS tensions brought on by China's aggression. Horizon 3 also entails acquiring resources to improve deterrence, command and control, intelligence, connectivity and communications. The Philippines is improving its air and sea defense capabilities through its defense modernization agenda. The purchase of S-70 Black Hawk helicopters, missile corvettes, quick assault interdiction boats, and Wanhei-class offshore patrol vessels (OPVs) are some of the significant ongoing initiatives. 10. These purchases support the Philippine government's larger defense modernization efforts by addressing the major marine security domains, facilitating quick reaction, and enhancing reconnaissance and surveillance. Furthermore, the introduction of cutting-edge technology such as advanced missile systems, modern tanks and upgrades to artillery are the focus areas of the Horizon 3 phase. The Philippine Army is also seeking to acquire advanced anti-air and submarine warfare capabilities in response to the external threat posed by China. This phase of the program emphasizes the procurement of multi-role fighter jets MRFs such as F-16s, FA-50PH upgrades, or next-generation platforms. 11. These aircraft would provide the capability for air superiority, ground attack missions, and multi-role functions such as reconnaissance and surveillance. While the PAF's acquisition of MRFs represents a positive development, continued investment in infrastructure, pilot training and future aircraft acquisitions will be critical to ensuring long-term effectiveness of the country's Air Force. The enhancement of the nation's capacity for maritime domain awareness is another important aspect of the updated Horizon. In addition to Horizon 3, the Philippine Defense Authority's new Comprehensive Archipelagic Defense Concept (CADC) places more focus on the nation's air and naval capabilities. It emphasizes that it is crucial to safeguard the nation's natural resources and ensure their peaceful, unhindered exploration. Patrols between the EEZ and the 7,641 island nation's internal waterways are among the Philippine Navy's missions. 12. Horizon 3 aims to enable the implementation of the CADC. This new defense concept emphasizes the protection of the Philippines' archipelagic territory, focusing on securing its vast maritime domain, including the protection of territorial waters, islands and EEZs. The Philippines has expanded defense procurement to countries including India, Israel, Poland, South Korea and Turkey, even though the U.S. remains a major supplier due to long-standing military connections. Hyundai Heavy Industries, a South Korean shipbuilder, has been one of the AFP's primary collaborators thus far. The company has already given the Philippine Navy 2 Jose Rizal-class frigates. In addition, Manila has ordered 6 offshore patrol boats and 2 missile corvettes from Hyundai, which should arrive this year. In 2019, South Korea also gave the Philippine Navy a Pohang-class corvette. Furthermore, negotiations to acquire more BrahMos missile batteries are underway between Manila and New Delhi. 13. In April 2024, New Delhi delivered the first shipment of missiles. However, it is important to note that the Philippines would need to invest in developing a robust naval support system, including submarine bases, repair facilities, and trained personnel. The Horizon phase of modernization can be seen as a component of the Marcos administration's strategy to fortify its security ties with the US, Japan, Canada, Australia, and other countries. As a result, the Philippines will have the capabilities necessary to meaningfully participate in regional and potentially global joint military exercises after this horizon is completed. Moreover, the new program may also create chances for cooperation, particularly in developing the nation's defense sector. National development can be greatly aided by agreements on professional exchanges, in-country production and technology transfer. Going forward, One of the challenges that was witnessed concerning the modernization program and enhancing defense capabilities was that of the financial budgets and whether the Philippines can afford to spend billions of dollars a year in modernizing its military. The Philippines has historically had a relatively low defense budget compared to other countries in the region. Although the government has made efforts to allocate more funds for military modernization, the budget remains constrained by other national priorities, such as social programs, education and infrastructure. This often results in delays and limitations in acquiring the required modern equipment and technology. In 2024, 40 billion pesos were allotted for defense modernization. At the current currency rate, that amounts to almost 694 million United States dollars. 14. Therefore, to reach its expenditure target of 35 billion United States dollars, the government would have to work on expanding its resources significantly to be able to match the targeted expenditure for the country's military modernization. In recent times, the Philippines has shown a strong interest in acquiring submarines as part of its efforts to modernize its military. They are seen as crucial tools in the fight against the Chinese Coast Guard and military vessels' constant encroachment into Philippine territorial seas in the SCS. Submarines would enable the Philippine Navy to undertake stealth operations and extend its capabilities into the subsurface. They are especially well suited for intelligence, surveillance and reconnaissance missions because they are hard to detect. Although it was unclear until recently if the AFP could afford the cost of buying and maintaining a submarine fleet, Horizon 3 has allocated between 80 billion and 110 billion pesos for the purchase of 2 submarines as well as the related logistical and basing needs. 15. The most likely partner would be France's naval group, which has volunteered to train the personnel required to operate 2 Scorpion-class submarines. The submarines would be stationed in the former U.S. military facility in Subic Bay, with plans to purchase at least 2 squadrons of multi-role combat aircraft (MRCA). The AFP is preparing for a significant increase in air combat capability in addition to submarines. Cooperation between the Philippine Coast Guard, the Philippine Navy, and the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources (BFAR) becomes vital in the face of these rising tensions. These organizations can efficiently patrol the EEZ and enforce maritime rules by coordinating their efforts and pooling their resources. Given the Philippines' defense budget and the other priorities it must address, acquiring submarines would need to be strategically planned to fit within its broader modernization goals. However, the pace of acquisition may depend on available funding, as other areas like air defense, naval vessels, and ground force modernization are also competing for resources. Alternatively, it might be against the Philippines' interests in maritime security to divert scarce resources to the purchase of submarines rather than constructing sufficient and competent surface platforms. Overall, while earlier horizons focused on building the foundation of the military's capabilities, Horizon 3 aims to fully transition and align the AFP with a comprehensive defense strategy that prioritizes territorial defense and deterrence against external threats. Views expressed are of the author and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Manohar Parikar IDSA or of the Government of India. 1. Philippines pushes for Dream submarines as global defense giants battle for the deal. Defense Security Asia, the 2nd of March 2025. 2. Henry J. Kenny, The South China Sea, A Dangerous Ground, Naval War College Review, Volume 49, Number 3, 1996, pp. 96 to 108. 3. Carlisle A. Thayer, Military Modernization and Capacity Building in the Philippines and Vietnam. In the wake of arbitration, papers from the 6th Annual CSIS South China Sea Conference, Center for Strategic and International Studies, CSIS, the 1st of January 2017, pp. 95 to 110. 4. Shang Su Wu, Aquino's Military Modernization, Unprecedented but Insufficient, The Diplomat, the 23rd of March 2016. 5. Ibid. 6. Aquino says Chinese survey ships seen in Philippine waters, Reuters, the 18th of August 2014. 7. Renato Cruz de Castro, The Next Phase of Philippine Military Modernization, Looking to External Defense, Asia Maritime Transparency Initiative. The 12th of July 2018. 8. Andrew Drieger, Modernizing the Philippines Armed Forces, Asian Military Review, the 19th of April 2019. 9. Renato Cruz de Castro, The Next Phase of Philippine Military Modernization, Looking to External Defense, Number 6. 10. Lee Kok Leong, Philippines Modernizes Military Amid Escalating South China Sea Crisis, Maritime Fair Trade, the 28th of March 2024. 11. Mikhail Flores and Karen Lima, Philippines Eyes Mid-Range Missiles, 40 Fighter Jets to Modernize Military, Reuters, the 29th of August 2024. 12. Jeffrey Matum, Philippines Launches, Surface Action Groups to Strengthen South China Sea Patrols and Defense, South China Morning Post, the 24th of January 2025. 13. Ashish Dangwal, Crown Jewel, of Indian Military, Philippines in talks with Delhi to buy more BrahMos missiles, reports Eurasian Times, the 17th of January 2025. 14. James Guild, the Philippines' $35 billion military modernization plan, explained, The Diplomat, the 17th of May 2024. 15. Prime Nepomuceno, AFPI's 2 subs to beef up defensive capabilities, Philippine News Agency, the 12th of February 2025.
Okay. They're spending a lot of money to get the Philippines to be much stronger, to get the Philippines to be more equipped, to get the Philippines more advanced. So we were watching the video, weren't we? This one.
The Philippines is embarking on an ambitious military modernization program. This initiative is not just a minor upgrade, but a comprehensive overhaul of the country's defense capabilities. The program aims to address both current and future security challenges, ensuring that the Philippines is well prepared for any potential threats. This program is massive, totaling $35 billion. Such a significant investment underscores the importance the Philippines places on its national security. The funds will be allocated across various sectors, ensuring a balanced and robust enhancement of military strength. The goal? To strengthen the country's defense capabilities. This includes not only upgrading equipment but also enhancing the training and readiness of the armed forces. The modernization program will provide soldiers with the latest technology and tools to effectively carry out their duties. This move comes at a time of increasing tension in the South China Sea. The region has become a hotspot for geopolitical conflicts, with multiple nations asserting their claims over the contested waters. The Philippines' strategic location makes it a key player in this ongoing dispute. China's assertiveness in the region is a major concern for the Philippines. The Chinese military's growing presence and activities in the South China Sea have raised alarms, prompting the Philippines to take decisive action to safeguard its interests. The modernization program represents a significant shift. Historically, the Philippines has focused on internal security issues, such as counterinsurgency and domestic threats. However, the current geopolitical climate necessitates a broader approach to defense. The Philippines is moving away from a focus on internal security. While internal threats remain important, the emphasis is now on protecting the nation's sovereignty and territorial integrity from external aggressors. Instead, it is prioritizing territorial defense. This shift in focus is evident in the allocation of resources towards enhancing naval and aerial capabilities, ensuring that the Philippines can effectively monitor and defend its maritime borders. This is a direct response to China's growing military presence in the South China Sea. The Philippines recognizes the need to bolster its defenses to counterbalance the increasing influence and activities of the Chinese military in the region. The Philippines is determined to protect its sovereignty. This determination is reflected in the comprehensive nature of the modernization program, which aims to create a well-rounded and capable military force. The $35 billion investment will touch all branches of the military. From the Army to the Navy and Air Force, every sector will benefit from new equipment, advanced training programs, and improved infrastructure. The Navy, Air Force, and ground forces will all see significant upgrades. These enhancements will ensure that the Philippines can respond swiftly and effectively to any threats, both from within and outside its borders. New ships, aircraft, and weapon systems are all part of the plan. The modernization program aims to equip the military with state-of-the-art technology, making it one of the most advanced forces in the region. The Philippines is sending a clear message. Through this substantial investment, the country is demonstrating its commitment to national security and its readiness to defend its territorial claims. It will defend its interests in the South China Sea. The modernization program is a bold statement of intent, signaling to the world that the Philippines is prepared to stand firm in the face of external pressures and protect its sovereignty at all costs. The South China Sea is a vital waterway, serving as a crucial artery for global trade and commerce. It is a major shipping route, with thousands of vessels traversing its waters daily. Trillions of dollars in goods pass through it every year, making it one of the most economically significant maritime regions in the world. The sea is also rich in natural resources, including vast reserves of oil and natural gas. Oil, gas, and fisheries are all found there, providing livelihoods for millions and fueling economies. This abundance of resources makes the South China Sea a highly contested area with multiple nations vying for control. The Philippines, China, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan all have overlapping claims in the South China Sea, each asserting their historical and legal rights. This has led to numerous disputes over the years, with diplomatic tensions often spilling over into confrontations at sea. China's recent actions have heightened tensions as it seeks to assert its dominance in the region. Beijing has built artificial islands in the Spratly Islands, transforming reefs and atolls into military outposts. It has also militarized these islands, equipping them with runways, radar systems, and missile installations. The Philippines has strongly opposed China's actions, viewing them as a direct threat to its sovereignty and territorial integrity. It views China's presence as a threat to its sovereignty and has been vocal in its opposition. The Philippines has challenged China's claims in international court, seeking a legal resolution to the disputes. It has also sought to strengthen its military presence in the region, conducting exercises and acquiring new equipment. The South China Sea is a potential flashpoint with the risk of conflict ever present. The Philippines is determined to protect its interests, standing firm in the face of growing challenges. For decades, the Philippine military has been focused on internal security. It has been battling communist insurgents and Islamic militants. This has led to a focus on counterinsurgency operations. This is now changing. The Philippines is shifting its focus to territorial defense. This is a major change in strategy. The modernization program is a key part of this shift. The Philippines is investing in new weapons systems. These systems are designed to counter China's growing military might. The Philippines is also strengthening its alliances. It has deepened its security ties with the United States. It is also seeking to build closer ties with other countries in the region. The Philippines is adapting to a new security environment. It is determined to defend its sovereignty. The Philippines is an archipelago nation. It has over 7,000 islands. This makes maritime security a top priority. The modernization program is investing heavily in the Navy. New warships, submarines, and patrol boats are all being acquired. The Philippines is also upgrading its naval bases. This will allow it to better project power in the South China Sea. The goal is to create a credible deterrent. The Philippines wants to make it clear to China that it will defend its maritime territory. The modernization of the Philippine Navy is a significant development. It is a sign of the Philippines' commitment to defending its interests in the South China Sea. It is also a sign of the growing strategic rivalry between China and the Philippines. Section 5. Dominating the Skies. The Air Force's transformation. The Philippine Air Force is also undergoing a major modernization. New fighter jets, transport aircraft, and helicopters are all being acquired. This transformation is not just about adding new equipment, it's about enhancing the overall capability and readiness of the Air Force. The acquisition of these new assets will significantly improve the Air Force's operational flexibility. Military transport aircraft will enable rapid deployment of troops and supplies, while helicopters will provide crucial support in various missions, from search and rescue to combat operations. The Air Force is also upgrading its air defense systems. This includes the installation of advanced radar systems and missile defense technologies, which are essential for detecting and neutralizing aerial threats. This will allow it to better protect Philippine airspace. Enhanced radar capabilities will ensure that any potential threats are identified early, giving the Air Force ample time to respond. The Philippines is acquiring advanced fighter jets. These state-of-the-art aircraft are equipped with the latest technology, providing superior speed, agility, and firepower. These jets will give the Philippines a much-needed air power boost. They will enhance the country's ability to conduct air superiority missions, ensuring control of the skies in any conflict scenario. The Philippines is also investing in unmanned aerial vehicles, or UAVs. These drones are a game changer in modern warfare, offering capabilities that manned aircraft cannot. UAVs can be used for surveillance and reconnaissance. They provide real-time intelligence, allowing for better decision-making on the battlefield. They can also be armed with missiles. This makes them versatile tools for both offensive and defensive operations, capable of striking targets with precision. The modernization of the Philippine Air Force is essential. It is a critical step towards ensuring the country's security and sovereignty in an increasingly volatile region. It will allow the Philippines to better defend its airspace. With enhanced capabilities, the Air Force can effectively deter potential aggressors and respond swiftly to any threats. It will also allow the Philippines to project power further afield. This means the country can participate more actively in regional security initiatives and humanitarian missions. This is important as China continues to assert itself in the South China Sea. A modernized Air Force will enable the Philippines to safeguard its interests and contribute to maintaining stability in the region. Section 6. The United States' role, a vital partnership. The United States is a key ally of the Philippines. The two countries have a mutual defense treaty that dates back to 1951. The United States has pledged to defend the Philippines if it is attacked. Additionally, the United States is providing the Philippines with military aid and helping to train its military forces. Moreover, the United States is increasing its military presence in the Philippines. It has deployed troops and aircraft to the country and has conducted joint military exercises with the Philippines. The United States is committed to helping the Philippines defend its sovereignty, viewing China's actions in the South China Sea as a threat to regional stability. Section 7. Geopolitical chessboard, navigating regional tensions. The Philippines' military modernization has significant geopolitical implications. It is likely to further escalate tensions with China. China has already expressed its displeasure with the Philippines' actions, warning against any moves that could complicate the situation in the South China Sea. Furthermore, the Philippines' modernization program is also likely to spark an arms race in the region. Other countries in Southeast Asia are concerned about China's growing military power and are likely to increase their own military spending in response to the Philippines' actions. This modernization program is a reflection of the growing strategic rivalry between China and the United States. Section 8. Internal challenges, balancing priorities. The Philippines faces a number of internal challenges that could complicate its military modernization efforts. The country is still grappling with communist insurgents and Islamic militants, which continue to pose a security threat and could divert resources away from the modernization program. Additionally, the Philippines faces significant economic challenges. Poverty and inequality are major problems, and the government may find it difficult to fund the modernization program, especially if the economy weakens. The Philippines is also prone to natural disasters, such as typhoons, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions, which are all common. Section 9. Conclusion. A new era for Philippine defense. The Philippines' $35 billion military modernization is a major undertaking. It reflects the country's determination to defend its interests in the South China Sea and is a sign of growing concern about China's assertiveness. The program also demonstrates the Philippines' commitment to modernizing its military. However, the modernization program is not without its risks. It could further escalate tensions with China and potentially spark an arms race in the region. The Philippines will need to carefully manage these risks and balance its military modernization with other priorities, including economic development, social welfare, and disaster preparedness.
Let's say you have 50K in cash and you use that to buy a $500,000 property to live in, which means
A vintage warship foiled the
All right. Has to force the Filipinos to be better, more nicer, much stronger in the armed force, and with China Sea and everything like that is interesting. What I watched. Thank you very much for contributing. This is from the Filipinos side of the story. Thank you very much. Intimate Sector is my channel.